Welcome back to lecture series in linear control system. In last class we were discussing about the first portion of Bode plot, and that was magnitude plot. We completed the entire solution of a magnitude plot of one problem with all steps are well explained, and we followed the exact systematic method that anyone can understand. So, in today's class, we are going to the next section of the Bode plot, that is phase plot. So, Bode plot is having two sessions. The first plot is magnitude plot that we already completed. The second plot is phase plot or angle plot. For that, the same question is again considered. Same question, g of s 10 into s plus 4 by s square into s plus 2 into s square plus 10s plus 100. This was the same question that already considered for drawing magnitude plot. Why I am taking the same question? Because this question is having all the possible components. Because one pole is there, one zero is there, one second order quadratic pole is there, one integral term with square, s square is there. In some other cases, this s square may appear in the numerator. In that case, it is a pole. It is a zero. In this case, it is a pole. So, such differences may appear, but anyhow this is a problem where maximum possibilities are incorporated. So, I am doing the same question for drawing phase plot. So, first of all, if we got a question in Bode plot, we have to make it in standard form. 10 is the constant. For making it to standard form, we have to take s plus, in s plus 4, we have to take 4 outside. So, it will become s by 4 plus 1. So, 4 will be present here. Why so? For making it standard, the constant term should be equal to 1. Divided by s square is also in standard form itself, nothing to do with. And s plus 2, we have to take 2 outside. So, s by 2 plus 1. And the last one is a second order quadratic system. In that, we have to take 100 outside because that final constant term should be 1. So, for taking 100 outside, we have to give write it as s square by 100 plus 10s by 100 plus 1. So, 1 minute. As we are taking 2 outside, we have to mark 2 here, and now 100 is here. So, if we solve all the constant terms, we will get 0.2. This is already solved in the previous class. I was just trying to brush up these topics by s square into s by 2 plus 1 plus 0.01 into s square plus 0.1 into s plus 1. Now, this is the one and only step that I want to add with. Up to this, everything was already explained. Now, I have to write g of j omega. This also not that much important. From the instruction itself, you should be able to know that every s should be replaced by j omega. J represents angle and omega represents magnitude. In that, if you are eligible for the primary inspection itself, you don't need to put j omega. Otherwise, it is better to put j omega. So, I am substituting j omega. J omega by 4 plus 1 all divided by j omega square into j omega by 2 plus 1 into 0.01 j omega square. What is j omega square? J square is minus 1. So, we can put minus here into omega square minus 0.01 plus 0.1 into j omega. 0.1 j omega plus 1. Okay. So this is the final arrangement of our term in j omega by substituting s is equal to j omega. We already got this. Now I am taking each term. This is term 1, j omega by 4 plus 1. As this is the first time we are discussing this solution, I am going this much detail. Otherwise, you can write the angle from the inspection itself. So in exam, you don't need to write like term 1, term 2, etc. This is just a description how we can find this. Okay. So term 1 is j omega plus 1. Here j term or imaginary term is in j axis we have to take omega by 4 in j axis. So this is j axis and this is real axis. So in j axis I will mark omega by 4 and in real axis I have to mark 1 in real axis. So this is mark plus 1. Okay. Now I will consider a triangle and this is theta. So what is the value of tan theta? Opposite side by adjacent side. So it will be omega by 4 divided by 1, that is equal to omega by 4 itself. So theta is equal to tan inverse of omega by 4. So what is the thing you have to understand is, in such a standard form, what is the theta? Theta is just tan inverse of the magnitude of imaginary term or j term, tan inverse omega by 4. Nothing to worry about. What was the actual term? This in the first question it was s plus 4. In that sense, it is omega by 4. That is also applicable. In the previous lecture, we may be done like that. So both are same, taking from the standard form or taking from the unstandard form like this. This is the unstandard form. Then also omega by 4. That is also right. But anyhow, this will be better, I think. Okay. Now, so for this term it is tan inverse omega by 4, this term it is tan inverse omega by 2. So I am not detailing about this term. What about a s square term or j omega square term? Each j term gives an angle of 90 degree. Each j term gives an angle of 90 degree. So if it is j square, it is 2 into 90, 180. J cube, 3 into 90. Suppose it is in numerator, it is 90. If it is in denominator, you have to take minus. If this angle is in denominator, you have to add minus. This is also in the denominator, you have to add minus. That is the thing you should be focused on with. So what about this term? This term is also similar. I am rearranging this term. Now we can say only one term is having a j term. Bracket is not required. This term is not having any j term. So this is real and this is imaginary. That is the thing you should be very careful about. If it is a quadratic equation, put s is equal to j omega, then one term will have j square, that should be replaced by negative signature minus 1. J square is equal to minus 1. By that you will get some real term and some imaginary term. Mark the imaginary term here. What is that? 0.1 omega, and mark the real term here, that is 1 minus 0.01 omega square, and this is our theta. So theta is equal to, again the same result, theta is equal to tan inverse of opposite side by hypotenuse. Anyhow, in all such things, theta will be tan inverse of imaginary by real. So here imaginary is 0.1 omega, and real will be, I think, I will write it somewhere else. Here a space limitation is there, so I will write it here. Theta is equal to tan inverse of opposite side or imaginary term, that is 0.1 omega all divided by adjacent side, that is real term, 0.01 omega square. Now it's okay. So now you know how to convert every term to angle. So this is not required to be written in the exam paper. This is I am writing this to make you understanding about the concept of how to convert each term to angle. For that you have to learn the basics of this trigonometrics. What is tan theta, theta, how we can convert, how we can mark real terms and imaginary terms, such things. Now let me write the angle equation in one step. This is very interesting. 0.2, it is a constant term, no angle, leave it. First term, j omega by 4 plus 1, it is there in the numerator, so it is plus of tan inverse, we already know that, omega by 4, minus all the other terms are in the denominator, so we can take minus common. First term is j omega square, so it is minus, as it is in the denominator, it is minus 2 into 90, minus 180. So minus is there in the outside, so 180 degree plus, why I am writing plus? Because minus is there outside as a common for all the denominator terms. Tan inverse omega by 2 plus tan inverse for this term, real term, sorry, imaginary term, 0.1 omega divided by 1 minus 0.01 omega square. Okay, don't get confused with this r, this is real, this r. Okay, so this is our important angle expression. Now what I want to have is, I have to put the value omega in each case with the omega that we already have in the magnitude plot, or I can put any other value, for omega, but I know that in our previous question where I was writing the magnitude plot, we have taken certain points in x-axis like corner frequency omega c1, omega c2, omega L, omega H. Such points are already taken. If you take the same points, same omega for this expression also, then your magnitude plot is already you drawn somewhat like this, already is there in your notebook as a part of previous class. So if you are taking the same x-axis points, then your phase plot will be aligning somewhere here. Otherwise, you are taking some point very left or very right, far away from these points, your magnitude plot will lies here and phase plot will lie somewhere else. So in order to avoid that, take the same x-axis points. If you are drawing both magnitude plot and phase plot, you have to take the same omega points that you already took in your magnitude plot drawing. That will be better. But if you are just asked to draw only the phase plot, nothing like that. You have to take any point. But normally such thing will not happen. In exam, you will be asked to draw both phase plot and magnitude plot, or you will be asked to draw the entire Bode plot. So that you have to take the same points should be substituted as omega. Then only you will get both the drawings in a same plane. Okay, So now we are moving to the next step. Okay, so this was our j omega mod transfer function, and this was the equation we derived from this j omega equation, which represents angle of g of j omega. So we know that in the x-axis we have to take omega frequency, which may be in semi-log sheet, non-uniform distribution, and the y-axis we have to take the phase for drawing phase plot. So after this drawing we will mix both the phase plot and magnitude plot, because we are drawing both these drawings in the same graph. So x-axis will be having two axes, one will be phase and other one will be magnitude. Then we can draw all the two graphs, that is phase plot and magnitude plot, in a single paper. So now I am going to substitute the frequencies. I can substitute any frequency anyhow, as I want to draw both the cases, phase plot and magnitude plot. I am taking the same frequencies which I had already assumed or already taken for drawing magnitude plot. So first corner frequency or lower frequency was 0.2, then first corner frequency was 2, second corner frequency was 4, third corner frequency was 10, and the higher corner frequency was 100. This was the case, and we can see you can substitute all things in the single equation itself by using calculator if you are very expert. Otherwise you will be made some mistakes before putting these brackets. It is not that simple to put all the brackets in a single equation in calculator, because you have to open some bracket. At the same time you have to balance the bracket at the closing ends, otherwise you will giving some message like math error. So in order to avoid that, I suggest you to do like this. Like suppose this is A, you are calculating A separately, A, and this is B, you are calculating B separately for each omega value, and this is C, you are calculating C separately for each omega value, and then you will finally substitute all this A, B, C in this equation. Then you can reduce the chance of happening mistakes. So I have written all these values pre-calculated here. So I will write here, you can check whether your answers are right or wrong. Tan inverse 0.2 by 4, 2.86. Tan inverse 2 by 4, that is 26.5. Tan inverse 4 by 4 or tan inverse 1, that is 45, we know. Tan inverse 10 by 4, that is 68. Tan inverse 100 by 4, that is 88. Next B, that is tan inverse B by 2. Tan inverse 0.2 by 2, that is 5.7. Tan inverse 2 by 2, or that is tan inverse 1, that is 45. Tan inverse 4 by 2, that is 63. Tan inverse 10 by 2, that is 79. Tan inverse 100 by 2, that is 89. I may be approximating the points like 0.5, 0.2. Next C, this term. So put each value of omega in numerator and denominator. So first term tan inverse, if omega is equal to 0.2, the C will give you 1.14. If omega is 2, the C will give you 11. if omega is 4, the C will give you 22. If omega is 10, the C will give you 45, and omega is 100, it will give minus 5.7. Now this is the final phase, angle of j omega, and that can be written as A minus 180 plus B plus C. Is it okay now? We divided this into small terms and then finally mixing together. So if omega is equal to 0.2, you substitute A, B, C in this form, then you will get the final answer as minus 183.9, and when omega is equal to 2, you will get minus 209.5. When omega is equal to 3, you will get minus 220. When omega is equal to 4, you will get omega is equal to 10, you will get minus 236. When omega is equal to 100, you will get minus 175.3. So this is the table for drawing omega or frequency versus angle, and that can be plotted in the same sheet. Then you can complete the phase plot. Okay, now we are moving to the graph sheet. Now I arranged all the tables together. So this was the table we already obtained for drawing phase plot table, and this is the table that we already obtained in the previous class for drawing magnitude plot. So generally question will be arriving, or they will be asked you to do the both plots simultaneously, or they will just ask you to draw the Bode plot. They will not specify, generally they will not specify like magnitude plot or phase plot. So generally you have to draw both the plots together as a part of a same exercise. So here what we have done in the previous class is already presented here. That is, the magnitude plot is just completed here. If you are having any doubt regarding the drawing of magnitude plot, you please refer the previous class. So in for magnitude plot, in the x-axis we are taking the gain, and the y-axis we are taking frequency or omega. But in the same graph we want to plot phase plot also. So in the x-axis we are duplicating another axis. You can draw in this side also. Both are same. And in that you have to take the phase. And all the degrees are negative, because you can see these angles all are negative. You may have a doubt that how we can align the position of these both the x-axis. Will it be coming in a same positions, or do we have to arrange it in dissimilar positions? Such questions you may have in your mind. So please note this point, or please take care about this point, that if it is better if both the graphs are not overlapping. That's why I know that the majority of magnitude plots areas are coming to from plus 14 to minus 195, and I am taken the scale in order to leave some space under the magnitude plot, so that I can draw phase plot in that space. I think it's clear. So if you are planning to draw both the plots, or the question is asked to draw the entire Bode plot, then it is better that you have to take some higher scale, so that some space will be blank on the x-axis. Even though you are completed the entire magnitude plot, you should have some space blank. That's why I stopped minus 200, minus 250 here. Otherwise I can extend it up to this point. And I placed the remaining x-axis or the second x-axis, so that the degrees are starting. In the starting range is almost from minus 170 to minus 209, minus 236. So 170 to minus 240. Minus 170 to minus 240 I have placed in the beneath in the bottom area. That's why this graph will come here somewhere. So this will not collapse. Nothing, if even though it collapse, nothing is wrong. Then also you can do the analysis. Like if both the plots are like this, nothing is wrong, that's also right, but it will be looking somewhat better. That's why my suggestion is to leave some space while selecting the scale on x-axis for drawing magnitude plot itself, and that space should be matching for accommodating all the divisions of phase plot angles. Okay, so now let me draw the points. The first point is point 2 and minus 183. Point 2 is here. I already explained how we can arrange the things in the semi-log graph. This is point 1 and this is 1. So it is having 10 division. First division is point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, point 6, point 7, point 8, point 9 and 1. And thereafter this section is also having 10 subdivisions like 1 to 10. So first division will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like non-uniform distributions are there. So point 2 is the first division just after point 1. So point 2, the corresponding degree is minus 183. Minus 183, it will be here somewhere. Okay. This is the first point. Then I think it will be better if you use scale for this. Okay, this is the first point. And second point is at 2 it is minus 209.5. At 2 it is 209.5, that is very close to 210. Okay. So put some dot lines in order to mark this point. So this will be the second point. And for the point frequency 4, it is minus 226. This is the point of 4. That is 2 is here, 3 is here, this is 4. So for that point it is minus 226. Minus 226 will come here somewhere. Thank you. This is minus 226. Then for the point of 10, it is minus 236. Sorry. For the point of 10, it is minus 236. So this is 10 and this will be minus 236 here somewhere. So let me extend that point. Okay. This will be that point. This will be the fourth point. And the fifth point, you can see there is a decrease in the value. At 100 it is minus 175. At 100, this is the point of 100, it is minus 175. So, okay. Okay, this will be that point. So, I am going to connect all the points. This should be done freehand, by freehand. That is the method of drawing phase plot. Magnitude plot you have to draw with scale, and phase plot you have to draw with freehand. Now, the entire Bode plot is over. In the next question, I will use the same question and same magnitude plot and phase plot will be using, so that you can find phase margin and gain margin of the system from this figure. So the next question will be, find the phase margin and gain margin of the particular given question using Borel plot. So draw the entire Borel plot, analyze each and every point, and then we will move to the concept of phase plot and phase margin and gain margin. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you.